Hey, so we're starting to stream. I missed the first two games here, but it looks like we have 12 Teen and Genna versus Katask and Chicken. Honestly, I think I should follow Chicken so we can see the ratings. Uh, Let me follow him for future games. So the score right now is 12 Teen and Genna have 2, Katask and Chicken have 0. I'm open to co-commentaries. I'm going to jump in the house party channel. If anyone wants to jump in the chat and commentate with me, let me know. And I'll put the link on the Discord. Hey, GMT time. Thanks for watching. Okay, so let's look at this game. Chicken is up by about 1 second on 12 teen. It looks like Chicken is on the attack. Chicken's king is relatively safe. 12 teen is also on the attack. Looks like Katask has a queen on a1, so he's like winning material, but that queen is sort of out of the action. So if Katask is able to live the next few seconds, then he will have a pretty dominating position. Looks like he's trying to get initiative, and that should be checkmate for him right now with the stuff he has. Yeah, this is mate in 1 for Katask. So that's game over. So the score right now is 2-1, favoring 12 teen and Genna 217. So what we've seen ordinarily in a series like this is Chicken is very good at adapting to his partner's style. So often Chicken has early losses, but he will get better and better as the series goes on. So even though 12 teen and Genna were winning early on, I expect Chicken will close the gap. And Katask is a very fast partner, so Chicken can expect to be up time. So Katask is playing against 12 teen now, who is quite a good attacker. So I think if Katask can stay safe, I think Chicken and Katask will do relatively well here. So Katask is up 2 seconds, and they are sit-in right now. It looks like a rook would mate for Katask. 12 teen is saying no rook. So the rook mate would be knight check, pawn takes, rook check, king takes, bishop takes, and then queen in. Chicken is forcing a rook at this point, because if he doesn't play rook takes, then Genna is mated. Unfortunately, they are down some time. Honestly, I think Katask should start the check-in sequence because he can mate with the rook later instead of immediately. Because he can mate with the rook instead of mating with the queen. So I think that was a grave mistake from Katask. I think he should have knight check, pawn takes, queen check, and so forth there. So Chicken has won that game. So we have some viewers here. It looks like GMT time's the only one who's said hi so far. Anyone out there is in the chat, let me know. If anyone wants to co-commentate, I'm looking for co-commentators. I'm in the house party channel on the house Discord. Chicken has quite a good attack here. It's winning material. Looks like 12 teen is waiting for pieces. 12teen is going to get a pretty decent attack himself. I don't see any immediate mates. The task is willing to sacrifice material to stay alive here, and I think he'll be able to live. So a rook would mate for chicken because he has knight check followed by rook check. He probably wishes that Katas had taken the rook. He's going to go for another attack. Genna is getting a lot safer now. 12teen wants a queen. A queen would mate. Really, a rook would mate. 12teen has continued his attack. So 12teen can always bring this inactive knight in to keep checking. I guess he's worried if the king goes back to a8, then Katas could be safe without another knight. So now he's going to defense mode. 12teen has to defend against this queen now. So I'm sure Chicken knows that all he has to do is hold a knight, and he can give queens and so forth, and he would have gained some time there. And the more the material, the better for Katask at this point. Seems like Genna is just trying to gain time, which I don't think was necessarily the best strategy here. Because honestly, 12teen has nothing without a knight, and the knight just wasn't coming. Genna could have taken a knight a long time ago, and I think that would have been a better strategy for them. Hey, Just Doofus. So Katask is saying 1 sec. The score now, okay, the score now is 3-2, favoring Chicken Katask. So as I predicted, the Chicken Katask team is getting better with each game as Chicken adapts to Katask style. Chicken is somewhat underrated at 2800 also. I think Katask is maybe a little underrated, maybe rated about where you should. So I think it's likely that 12teen loses his 3000 rating in the series, but we'll see. Does greater than 2800 even make sense? I think it can make sense because it depends. I mean, it's all relative. So it's lucky that Katask is up time because a pawn would mate for Genna. But yeah, if you have someone who's consistently beaten 2600s, just destroying them, then for sure he should be rated like 2800. No, but that's not the way ratings work. GMT time. It's the 2800. It's comparable to other ratings in that category. It's not comparable to other categories. Oh, Chicken's made it there. I mean, if you have like if you have a 3000 rating at anti-chess or at Crazy House, that doesn't mean you're as good as Magnus Carlsen at chess. But even if that were true, I think that they are as good as Magnus Carlsen is relatively. This is a very good attack for Chicken and a good attack for 12teen. While 12teen can even move his king away if he wanted to get his queen in the game. I don't think he'll do that. Oh, he did do that. Okay. And now I think he's going to put a diagonal on e6. Uh, so at this point, 12-teen, oh, 12-teen's downtime. If you were uptime, this would be a great time to wait for a couple pawns. I would push this pawn. Oh, he's done it. So the idea is to, yeah. Wow, chicken's got the win. I think Anna could have defended that a little better, but 12-teen had a monster attack and was able to keep attacking even with very little feed, but it wasn't enough because chicken's attack was better. I figure it's relatively easy to call out some of these moves when they have a constrained position and they want to keep attacking. Chestyfish, you wish you could transfer ratings. No such luck right now. Alright, now Genna is on the attack. It's going to be pretty hard for Chicken to live through this. But Chicken is a great defender, so maybe he'll find a way. I don't think I could live through this. Okay, maybe he is going to live through this. But they're trying to make a task. The task is not going to live through this. He's got to go up now. Yeah, he's pretty dead. He can live for like one more move. The score is now 4 for 12-teen Genna and 2 for, or no, I'm sorry, 5 for Kataskan Chicken. So 4-5. So that last game, it was impressive that Chicken was able to salvage his position, but unfortunately he killed his partner in the process. So Chicken is defending and attacking along this diagonal here. Also blocking the rook from getting in. So 12-teen would like more pieces to attack with. Interesting. So now rook plus knight would mate if he could sack the rook, knight check. So he's gonna preserve rook takes and then rook in. Now a rook mates for him. Chicken can force it and it's gonna come. Let's mate. Yeah, Todd has a pretty good point there about win percentage. There's a lot of draws in chess, and bughouse it's very few draws. Oh, Miss Fairy Queen is raiding with a party of 2. Thanks very much for the raid, Miss Fairy Queen. Let me give her a shout out here. I'm sure you all know Miss Fairy Queen, but she is a very high rated and skilled bughouse player. I think she's up at like 2700 right now at bughouse. And additionally, she plays 4-player chess. Last night, she hit 2600 at 4-player FFA. So any of you who like 4-player should definitely check her out. I am looking for co-commentators. I'm in the House Party channel. If anyone wants to commentate with me, let me know. We are watching Chicken and Katask versus Genna and 12-teen. And the score right now is 7 for Chicken Katask and 4 for Genna 12-teen. Chicken has mate there. Hey, who do we have?
Chuck?
Oh, it's Miss Fairy Queen. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Oh, good. You can hear me. So
Yeah, I was streaming this match and then I saw you were streaming, so I was like, I think he's streaming the same thing, so I was just sad to read you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sounds good. I mean, it's fine to have more streams, but yeah, happy to have you here. So what do you think of the match so far?
Um, I think it's been fairly balanced, for the most part. Uh, the Katask has been trying to utilize more of a flagging strategy versus 12 in the low time situations instead of trying to mate.
Interesting. Yeah, so I initially I thought that 12 team was going to lose Raiden, but because Genna is so low rated relative to everyone else, it seems like 12 team is gaining Raiden even though they're losing as far as the match points.
So far, Katask and Chicken have gained rating because Katask inexplicably started with a 2890 rating.
Oh, did he really?
Uh,
Oh,
and
okay.
only a few hours ago he was 3,000. So I don't know what transpired if he got in the random pool and lost 100 rating points or not. But
Huh.
yeah, he started much lower than what I remember him finishing earlier today, and Chicken also was lower.
Oh, yes. So you actually commentated a match earlier tonight. So anyone who wants to see that earlier match should go to Miss Fairy Queen's channel and check out her VOD. Um, and you could see the. I think you had like two separate streams of like high level bughouse commentary. It looked like.
Right, and it was the same four players, but it was a different match. It was Katask partnered with Genna against Chicken and 12 Teen.
Cool.
So they reversed it a little bit.
Yeah, I think these are more balanced teams than the match you just described. I think this is
In fact,
especially. Oh, go ahead.
what happened earlier was that the match earlier started out about balanced. It was 4-3, and then Chicken and 12 Teen went on a 6 game win streak. So it was 10-3, and then Genna and Katask got it together and won 3 in a row, and they gained a lot of rating because of that. So it finished, I think, 10-6 or 7.
Interesting.
And it's 10-6 right now. So I think, you know, the by switching up the partners, it hasn't really affected the match score that much.
I think I think 12 Teen and Katask are the two fastest players here. So I think them playing against each other is good and it balances things out. I think Chicken can be more unleashed to have these great attacks when he doesn't need to worry about ever being down a lot of time, and I think Katask does that for him. I think we'll see Chicken play better games even than usual with Katask able to help him on speed.
Yes, and Chicken is known to be able to change the way he plays depending on the situation, uh, and Chicken, notably, whenever I've seen him play against Genna, they're very even in terms of just playing out chess moves because obviously Genna's a super strong chess player. So, if Chicken doesn't really attack him, he has less of an advantage. So I've noticed Chicken adapt more to trying to attack Genna in a lot of situations now because I think he's recognized, when he tries people though, but he tries different openings. And I noticed in one of the matches he started just stacking on F7 a bunch against Genna, and Genna didn't defend very well. And so then he started doing it a lot. And now I think the only way he sees an advantage for himself to play against Genna is to just attack super hard.
Yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. Um, and so they were talking in the chat about starting private calls. Um, but yeah, Chicken found a pretty nice mate that last game. I think Katask was even feeding him a few of those moves. So yeah, Chicken, he has great versatility. He often will adapt a lot to his partner's style. But he is a pretty decent attacker when he tries to attack, and we're getting to see Chicken as an attacker rather than as a feeder here. Does anyone know what the score is? The score is 6-11, favoring chicken and Katask.
You can see from the match right now that Katask and Chicken are holding a comfortable time edge in most of these games, which is helping them a lot, especially for Chicken to be able to attack and sack it a little bit more.
And right here it's helping a lot because that rook would mate Katask, but they were able to hold it.
The other thing that Chicken's really good at doing is holding pieces that hurt his partner. So Katask can play a little bit risky at times against 12 teen, and having a partner who can save his butt over and over again is really helpful.
Look at that position. I mean, because Chicken was up time, again, it was just overwhelmed with pieces there. Oh, he really should have sacked here. I think Chicken was pre-moving a little and didn't sack when he should have.
Again, Chicken sacked on f7 and is trying to attack hard here.
No, he did sack an f7, but I think if he had sacked earlier when the knights were blocking the queen in, I think the sack would have been even better.
You're right.
So that's the thing with pre-move.
He recovered well there. Yeah.
Genna seems to have a fairly safe position now. But that's the thing with pre-move is that a lot of times these, especially these top players, but any player will play against each other over and over again, and they'll get into a vibe as to what the opening is going to be, and they'll anticipate what the opening responses will be. So they'll throw in some pre-moves, and then their opponent will vary, even in a way that's really bad for them, and that won't be exploited because they think that they're going to do the usual stuff. So Genna was able to get away with blocking his king in the past game. I would play just e5 for chicken. Oh, he prefers to check, it looks like. This is going to work out. There's a free queen for chicken if he wants it. On the other hand, 12 teen is really getting in there. Are you still there, Ferry?
I think, so they have a 7-second advantage. I think 12 teen may be wanting something to drop at f7.
Makes sense. If he drops something at f7, then you can't just go king over because of knight takes c6. So we would have to see rook takes, and then that could force a queen trade. But the queen trade would be bad for Genna. So I guess 12 teen wouldn't want to do that.
Right, he would have to play, I think 12 teen would want to play knight takes on f7.
At least that would get the rook out of his face, attacking the queen. 12 teen is saying my position is bad. I'm sorry, what was that?
He's going to need a lot of pieces to do anything.
Yeah. Oh, 12 teen is asking Genna to feed him moves. He's saying, do you see any moves? That's very unusual for 12 teen. Usually he has a lot of moves in mind.
He does that with me as well. If he himself thinks there's no other move on the board, he'll start just asking.
So a rook would be good for 12 teen. Rook at d7, then pawn check maybe. I don't know. It's really hard for him to sustain there, so they resigned it. So the score is now 13-7, favoring Chicken Katask. Genna is saying trade's bad. Oh, they resigned. His 12th team is getting attacked too. I think Chicken and Katask are really gelling well.
Did, yeah, they're winning a lot. And so I think the way they have to, their opponents have to adjust by playing a little bit faster.
Yeah. 12th team is saying hard to focus.
You don't usually see 12 teams king on e2 at the beginning.
12th team is getting an okay attack here though. He's won a queen.
This position seems super safe.
The time is even though.
And his partner is doing well also.
Yeah.
I think they will win this game.
Chicken can just castle here. Seems safest. Oh, picked up a queen. I don't like that rook move back. I guess he's trying to hold the rook because the rook mates for 12th team. But he's not going to be able to hold it. So yeah, this game's over.
12 team could even throw in knight at e6 check. The only problem with that is that it would give Chicken another piece to drop with check also.
So Genna, by the way, is saying in the chat that it was a mouse slip. He says, I meant knight at f2. I don't know how a queen got there. Hey Omid, thanks for
That's a
watching.
trick also.
I'll give another shout out here to Miss Fairy Queen, who's co-commentating with me.
I think it was strange that Katask started at 2894, but I think Katask and 12 team are very close to each other, relative strength-wise. So I think overall this match is just gonna bring their ratings closer to each other from start to finish.
Hmm. 12th team is already saying trade's bad. The task is already saying trade's good. And Chicken is continuing to attack, willing to shed the queen for that. Now he needs a blocker. He's up time, he can get his blocker. Probably put it on g6. Luckily he has a knight garden f5. Otherwise he would have to be worried about knight check. Whoa, that is a bold move.
Oh, you moved.
That was a bad idea. So, well, the bishop does guard h6. So he'll probably take the rook for double check and then king takes.
As long as I guess their argument is as long as Katas doesn't give a heavy, then he lives.
Wow. I did not expect those moves. What? Chicken just gave a queen for free. A rook would be good for Katask. with knight check followed by rook at h7 maybe. Oh, I like that. Now Katas probably wants a pawn.
Maybe, yeah, or bishop would force the trades.
So Katas and chicken are downtime here though. I think chicken has the worst looking king right now.
14 would
12
like bishop.
12 would like to play chess.
Oh, his partner's doing great also. So he can, he's got some flexibility.
Ooh, chicken found a mate. But I don't think Katas can last this long against 12.
Yeah, well, they shouldn't have brought it to this situation because Katas can last for a lot of moves here.
But this, I don't think he can last for this many moves. Ooh, Katas exploited a pre-move.
Because you can utilize that aspect of this situation, which is 12 has to pre-move, and so you're vulnerable to anti-pre-moves. And I guess he's managed to get off a lot of the pieces, so he might be able to he might be able to get the mate quickly enough.
Katas is up time. Katas can sit. This is
Uh,
a win for Chicken Katas.
yeah, I've seen that happen too many times where you think 10 seconds is an advantage, but these guys can. Chicken's good at it too. He can survive long enough.
Yeah. I mean, often a player can survive that long, but on the other hand, 12 is really good at maiden in short amounts of time. Is he super good at bullet? But I guess it's especially hard versus Katas. Wow. Interesting moves from Katas here. Oh, Katas is in a bad way. Yeah, he's dead. Knight at g3 is pretty good.
Hold up. Pawn takes queen h1. Something's dropping at g1.
Yeah. The other option is
So
he
I
could
don't
just
think
play knight takes queen.
it's the issue right now is that a queen would mate Genna.
Yeah. But
So
12
he took the knight off, so now he's okay.
could always sit before giving the queen.
Alright, that's what he's doing. Letting Genna get safer.
Oh, nice mate. PKR is saying there should be a way to differentiate real versus promoted pieces. I agree, and they actually have that in 4-player chess. They differentiate the 1-point queens from the original queens. I think they ought to do that in Bughouse too. Are these teams on voice chat? I would say probably not, in that we see a lot of communication in the chat. For example, Genna has just said trade's good.
I know for a fact that 12 isn't because he's got a lot of noise in the background.
So I see in the house Discord there is a voice channel called Bughouse Team 1, which includes which it actually includes 3 of the players, it looks like. or no, it includes Katask, Chicken, and GSVC. I don't. Is GSVC? Yeah, so it includes 3 of the players. I'm assuming Chicken and Katask knew that GSVC was listening in on them. Sometimes it's hard because on the house Discord, they've created these teams, and there's a lot of people who are team GSVC. Telling one GSVC from the other can be difficult for me. Genna is spamming no knight, no rook. So a new knight at c3 would mate immediately. I guess the rook thing would be rook at c1. If there's a capture, then knight back would be mate. But what if instead he plays king takes knight? I don't necessarily see a mate there.
In the chat, someone's asking who Bianca is, and that is Katask.
Yeah. Yeah, GMT time is saying it's amazing they can coordinate without voice. And most of us prefer voice, but there's some people who prefer not being on voice, and there's some people who are quite good with just the buttons. I mean, the first more than 10 years I played Bughouse, we were not on voice. We just used buttons on fix. Granted, the fixed buttons were better than these chess.com buttons, but still, you can be pretty good with just buttons. It's a free queen for Chicken, but Katask really needs to find some initiative here. He wants a pawn, maybe? That's a good resource for him. The chicken gives nothing, then.
He did a long king walk there.
Yeah, and it worked. That's a touchdown.
Chicken got the mate faster.
The score right now is 17-9, favoring Chicken Katask. GMT Time's asking, would they mind if I joined their Discord voice on mute? I don't know. I know there have been times that I've joined when Katask is in a voice chat and he's immediately left the voice chat because he doesn't want people to hear him. But a lot of times Katask will join the voice chat and just mute anyway and only listen to what his partner says. So I don't know. In general, the courtesy is if players are teaming up and they're in voice chat, if you join, ask permission, identify yourself, and if they say no, then just leave. That's what I try to do at least. The score is 18-9, so that's pretty much a 2-1 margin for the Chicken Katask team. And they've brought 12 team below 3,000. Mate for Chicken. That was another early attack from Chicken on Genna.
It seemed like overall it's going 2 wins for every 1 win.
Yep. Whoa, that was an odd move by Katas. Oh, yeah, I guess that was the maiden piece. So that explains it.
Chicken is definitely attacking hard every game, and it's paying off. You see a lot of pieces go over to one board every game.
Yeah, that's 12 and Katas. They play so fast that there's gonna be these massive trades, and the whole board is gonna trade very often. So that's another insight is when when your partner's board makes faster moves than your board, you can normally expect a lot of trades and a lot of pieces to come on the board. So it can be extra important to attack and to have a safe king.
Right.
See,
The incorrect thing would be to say, slow down, stop giving trades. Right. You gotta have to adapt your board because playing for time is important. Right. 12 is down 20 seconds on the clock right now. So he has to mate, and he did get mate in this game, but otherwise they would be in big trouble.
I think he was only down like 3 seconds on the diagonal clocks. He was down 20 seconds on their board clock, which doesn't matter that much. But yeah, I agree. Like for sure, to the extent you can, if there's going to be high trades all the time, you want to attack, you want to sack. Um, I mean, that's one of the things that I'm not so good at is when all the trades come at once, and I'll tell my partner like, please don't do that. But sometimes it's not possible. I'm not nearly as good at adapting as some others, and you need to adapt by attacking more, sacking more.
And that's the thing about playing high house is that if you're a one-dimensional player, it's gonna be all that more tricky to have success in high house just because uh it's gonna be hard for the other players to completely play a perfect game and completely also mind your weaknesses.
Yeah, Genna is saying no rook. What does a rook do? Honestly, I don't see it. Is he thinking rook at f5? Huh. I mean, the knight I could see. The knight was a good check there. We see the
Other
c7 target there.
aspect to high house sacking is that if you're a very inefficient attacker and you sack a lot, that will pay dividends on the board that's trading a lot, right? Because if they have very few pieces left and then, whoa, one queen shows up, then that could be the deciding difference.
Yeah, efficiency with your pieces is definitely important. The task is defending here. Oh, we're knight mates, and he has it.
They've put together a little bit of win streak here.
Yeah, the score now is 21-12, favoring Chicken Katask. But why doesn't Chicken play something like knight g4 to guard g7 and attack the queen? Guess maybe he was worried about that sack, but
So
this
12
seems
really wants a knight. So you can play pawn at c2 and maybe a knight at d4.
yeah, that's why Chicken is sitting. 12 teen is saying in the chat, all always comes, just be safe, since we cannot communicate. So when he says always, he's not talking about just this game. He's saying every game, all is going to come. So, mate check. I'm sure chicken's going to mate here. Honestly, I don't see the mate yet, but it looks real good. Okay, well that's one way of doing it. Yeah, so now the pawn check is leading to mate. Did we lose Miss Fairy Queen? No, she's still here.
I'm here.
Yeah, I heard someone like leave and enter, so I wasn't sure who it was. But yeah, if anyone else wants to join and commentate with us, more are always welcome. So here for chicken, I like a move like pawn at e2. He can't do it yet because he doesn't want to give 12-teen a diagonal. But pawn at e2 can either win the queen or threaten knight takes f3 if knight takes, which is of course mate. But I think it just wins the queen. He's going to play a weighted move, and it worked.
So 12teen in the chat asked if Genna was okay, and Genna said no. And then 12teen responded, sort of rhetorically, maybe I'm going to trade less. And you can see in this game, he just sort of turtled up, which isn't really 12teen in his element. I don't think this is going to work out too well for them.
Yeah, not only that, but chicken seems to have adapted as well. I mean, so chicken, instead of attacking this game, he like won a few pawns in the process. And now he's up a few pieces. So now a Katask is defending, and chicken is starting his attack right now. Although a rook, if Genna got a rook, that would be bad for that team.
I can say from experience, I've partnered 12teen, and I don't remember what series it was, but I was also getting attacked hard and game after game, and 12teen did sort of ask the same questions like, all right, you want me to hold trades? And I said, you can try. After like a couple games, he tried. It worked out pretty horribly, so we just went back to you just sack and attack. And that's just the way it's going to go, I think, for this team.
So chicken, in the course of attacking, this bishop on e5 and the knight on h5 have also defended chicken well. So if chicken wanted to, he could have just taken free pieces and been safe.
Chicken is attacking very viciously. He's doing
Viciously.
a very good job of it. Another thing that chicken is adapting to right now is the fact that they have been typically uptime, and Genna is trying to go a little bit faster, and then he's anti-pre-moving Genna in response.
Yeah. It just shows the versatility of chicken because, I mean, the last few months, probably the last 6 months, normally we've seen chicken in matchups where he's always playing against 12-teen or partnered to 12-teen. And when he's playing against 12-teen, it's hard for him to get these huge advantages in position. When he's partnering 12-teen, normally he's trying to feed 12-teen, like he's playing to help 12-teen. When he's partnered to Helm's Knight, certainly Helm's Knight loves attacking, and chicken is just trying to feed Helm's Knight. So people who haven't seen Chicken that much might assume that Chicken isn't a great attacker, that he is just a great partner player. But he's a great attacker too. He's a versatile player. 12teen is saying in the chat, yes, sacks it, strong, smiley face. So he's happy to see Genna actually attacking this time. Chicken is going to have to shed some pieces, but I think he's going to live through this. He has to watch out for knight at e5.
I think Chicken's okay because Katas has got some attack, so he just has to live.
Yeah.
Team's finding a little bit of counterplay though.
The queen can take this bishop because the bishop can't take back, or we could have pawn at f7. He's going to do pawn at f7 first, but I would have just played queen takes. Oh, I guess maybe the queen would have made it on the other board, which is why he did it that way. The task has just picked up a free queen. The task is just crushing over there.
Whoa! And Katask anti pre-moved at 12-teen.
Oh, that's a free queen for 12teen now. Oh, that was a bad pre-move. Yeah, I was watching the 12teen board while Chicken just got Genna in a stranglehold. GMT Time is asking, does Helms do many of these matches? Yeah, Helms for the last year was the main organizer of High House matches, where she would get either 12-teen or Chicken or both together, and they would play other high-rated teams. But I believe Helms Knight has been away from her normal computer recently, maybe because of Corona. I'm not sure. And 12-teen has some vacation from school because of Corona. Earlier than that, because of spring break, he had some time off. So there've been much more matches just cropping up. The thing about the Helms Knight organized matches is Helms Knight was always one of the 4 players. So it's interesting to see some of these matchups where Helms Knight is not one of the 4 players. And Chicken has put a lot of pieces around his king. So even though Genna is attacking, Chicken is still fairly safe. Knight would be good for Genna, but
Chicken's still very safe.
Yeah. Yeah, even with the knight, he could have gone back to h8, and Genna would have only picked up a bishop. Now his Chicken's starting to attack. Yeah. Bishop at f2 or pawn at f2. If pawn at f2, then king up, bishop at e1. The bishop, this is going to be bishop takes e3. Oh, double check with the knight. This is going to be game over for Genna. Rook check, move the rook. Yeah.
That was very efficient.
They are saying GG's though, so this might be series over. All of them have said GG's.
Yeah, I think my prediction came true pretty much. Katask and 12-teen ended up about the same.
Yeah, they're within 1 point of each other, it seems. And it looks like 12-teen is saying 2 good guys. So I think 12-teen is admitting that he might need a player a little better than Genna to have good chances against Chicken Katas. And Genna's a very good player, but that just shows how good the Chicken Katas team is. Beltane saying the main problem was that he's not on voice with Genna. Chicken says his partner is strong. Twansy says Katas was eating me alive. And Katas says chicken is the greatest sack sitter ever. That might be an exaggeration, but
I don't think Chicken was even sack sitting. I think he was just sack moving.
yeah, for sure. So the question is, I'm gonna check the Discord to see if it's over. So if it is over, Miss Fairy Queen, do you wanna do a stream of something like 4-player or bughouse or something, and I can raid you?
I am not going to, so you'll have to raid someone else.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna check out who's streaming now. I have asked in the Discord if they're gonna repartner or something, but no one seems to be answering that. Let's see. Ray Robson is streaming. Let's see who else is going. Oh, maybe Chess Coach Nat. That might be a good person to raid. He partnered me for Bughouse last month. I'm gonna send people there. Just check the Discord one more time. And let's check the chat. Yeah, I think this is pretty much over. So I'm going to send you all to Chess Coach Net. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you to Miss Fairy Queen for co-commentating. Let me give one less shout out for her in the chat. I assume you're all following Miss Fairy Queen, but if you're not, you should, because she is very good at Bughouse and very good at 4-player. You want to tell them a bit more about your channel?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, mostly it's free for all 4-player chess. Occasionally we do bughouse. I also do bughouse commentary as well. So look out for more streams in the future.
Yeah, and her 4-player streams are very interesting because honestly, I'd watched a lot of 4-player teams before, but not a lot of FFA, and the psychology of it is just really interesting. There's been many times where I've watched Miss Fairy Queen play 4-player, and it looked like she was completely losing, and somehow she would beat the other 3 players. It's just I mean, my first instinct when I hear about 4-player FFA is if you see a free queen, you take it. If you see a free piece, you take it. But Miss Fairy Queen often would not take what looks like hanging pieces because she didn't want to change the balance of the game. And it's just that 2500, 2600 strategy that's worked out for her. She wins a lot of games. Very interesting to watch.
Yes, it's sort of pokerish in a way. You're kind of reading the other players and playing the position that way.
Okay, thanks everyone. Yeah, so the raid has happened. Thanks so much for co-commentating.
Yeah, for sure.